Before we start, if you're new here and enjoy the video, be sure to subscribe for more NBA content like this. I'm trying to hit 2,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so all support would be greatly appreciated. Anyway, with that being said, let's get right into this. Here's a realistic trades that the Chicago Bulls could put together this offseason. To finally land a star might be the best way for the front office to proceed. It won't be easy for the Chicago Bulls' new front office regiment to find the best path forward to build up this roster throughout the remainder of the 2020 offseason. There's a lot of options that the Bulls management has to work off of, which is a good thing, but there's no clear way to do it correctly. What we do know is that the Bulls are working with newly hired Executive Vice President of Basketball Operations and former Denver Nuggets General Manager Arturas Karnisovas to find a way forward. Karnisovas replaces former VP of Basketball Operations John Paxson as the lead voice in the front office. And by Karnisovas' side is the former Philadelphia 76ers Senior VP of Player Personnel Mark Eversley, who replaces Gar Forman as the Bulls' general manager. Karnisovas and Eversley will be responsible for finding the best path forward heading into the fourth year of the rebuild. They really have three options for which they could go to best build up the roster. There's not really a name that sticks out among the impending free agents for this offseason that the Bulls could use to land a star. But free agency could help build up their supporting cast for newly hired head coach Billy Donovan. They could also turn to the trade market and using their fourth overall pick in the 2020 NBA draft to build up the roster. Yet, if they do want to land a true star this offseason, then a trade might be the best way to go. If that is the case, this 3 stars could the Bulls target on the trade block that would be the most realistic for them to land this offseason. The thought of the Bulls piecing together a potential trade with veteran star point guard Chris Paul with the Oklahoma City Thunder brings about a lot of different reactions. While landing a veteran like CP3 could likely vault the Bulls into playoff contention in the Eastern Conference almost immediately, it comes with its downside risks. The first is that Paul has one of the more sizable contracts of any point guard in the NBA this year. He's due north of $40 million per year for the remaining life of his current contract. While he earned that dollar amount a bit more during the 2019-20 season with the Thunder than he did during the 2018-19 campaign with the Houston Rockets, that's still a lot to pay a 35-year-old point guard. On the positive end of this hypothetical trade scenario, it likely wouldn't take the Bulls all that much to get CP3 to the Windy City comparatively to the other stars. Since his contract is so large, and it looks like the Thunder are soon going to tear it all down and then rebuild, it makes sense that they would look into what the Bulls could offer them. Paul got his 10th career NBA All-Star selection during the 2019-20 season. To get the All-Star nod, he stood out for the Thunder playing in 70 games during the 2019-20 regular season, starting in all of them. He averaged 17.6 points per game, 5.0 rebounds, 6.7 assists, 1.6 steals, and 0.2 blocks. And Paul shot 48.9% from the field, 36.5% from beyond the arc, and 90.7% from the free throw line. One of the least popular trade options that a lot of teams might be able to find on the open market over the course of the next 6 or 8 months could be the Utah Jazz standout center Rudy Gobert. The Stifle Tower stands at 7'1" and 260 pounds and had one of his best seasons yet during the 2019-20 campaign. Gobert was a first-time NBA All-Star selection during the 2019-20 campaign. He's also a 3-time All-NBA team selection, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, 4-time All-Defensive Team selection, and the 2016-17 blocks champ. He excelled in the 68 games he played in during the shortened 2019-20 regular season with the Jazz, all of which he started in. And Gobert averaged 15.1 points per game, 13.5 rebounds, 1.5 assists, 0.8 steals, and 2.0 blocks. He shot 69.3% from the field and 63.0% from the free throw line. It does appear that the relationship between standout guard Donovan Mitchell and Gobert in the Jazz locker room could be fractured for good. After the positive novel coronavirus test for the latter of those two stars, it was understandably difficult to make amends. Since Gobert and Mitchell are both free agents next offseason, the Jazz might only try and keep one of them around over the long haul. The early signs would point to them keeping Mitchell around, with the way he played in the bubble at Disney World this year, over Gobert. Among the 3 stars on this list, likely the most desirable for the Bulls to get would be the former LSU Tigers' lengthy 6'10" and 240-pound Melbourne, Australia, native Ben Simmons. The Sixers don't have the best connection going right now between star center Joel Embiid and Simmons. Their chemistry just keeps getting worse and worse. And if the Sixers are looking to offload one of those 2 stars anytime in the near future, then the Bulls should be one of the first teams in line to have their offer heard. It's hard to imagine that the Bulls wouldn't want to at least see what it would take to get either Embiid or Simmons to the Windy City heading into next season. Simmons might also be the more proficient of those 2 Sixers stars at this point in time. He was really good, when healthy, for the Sixers in the season that was. Simmons played in 57 games during the shortened 2019-20 regular season with the Sixers, starting in all of them. In those 57 games played in the season that was, Simmons averaged 16.4 points per game, 7.8 rebounds, 8.0 assists, a league-leading 2.1 steals, and 0.6 blocks. And he shot 58.0% from the field, 28.6% from beyond the arc, and 62.1% from the free throw line. Hopefully, if the Bulls were to go after a Simmons trade with the Sixers, they would be able to keep him healthy for the most part. And that will conclude the video. Let me know all your thoughts on this down in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to drop a like and subscribe. With that being said, I am out. Peace.